Live, local, now. This is WSFA 12 News.
The death toll from Hurricane Helene now stands at 40 across 4 states. Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas saw the worst of that storm, and many in those states are still without electricity tonight. The storm surge also left many along Florida's coast dealing with widespread flooding, as you can see. Reporter Jay Gray is inland in the Tallahassee area, not far from where Helene made landfall last night.
The assault from Helene continues. The storm, no longer a hurricane, but no less of a problem.
Helene is causing life-threatening flash flooding, numerous landslides and downed trees, causing power outages. Flooding will continue through the weekend in some areas.
Those floodwaters swallowing entire communities across Georgia and the Carolinas now, spilling into homes, climbing up to the tops of cars.
This is so crazy, and I feel so bad for the people's cars that are underwater. I'm like, oh my gosh. I don't know what I would do.
Millions across an expanding strike zone, unsure about what to do or what comes next. The massive tropical system pushing inland and across the southeast, tearing apart homes, pulling down trees and power lines. After making landfall overnight along Florida's upper west coast as a Category 4 hurricane with sustained winds of over 140 miles an hour. First responders, rescue and recovery teams, along with 30,000 line crews all rushing into the hardest hit areas from the Keys through the Panhandle as soon as conditions begin to ease.
The first 24 hours we focus on search and rescue. Over the next 48 hours we will add what we call search, secure, and stabilize.
But for survivors, it will be a while before anything feels secure or stable again. Jay Gray, NBC News, Tallahassee.
In Tennessee, flooding forced a rescue operation to save dozens of people from the roof of a hospital. Take a look. More than 50 people were trapped on the roof of Unicoi County Hospital. That's in Irwin, Tennessee. Authorities say all roads to the facility were covered by floodwaters. A SWAT team in the area was training at the time and managed to save those patients, staff, and their medications. Here in Alabama, we escaped the worst of Helene, and that's one reason Montgomery served as a staging ground for the Federal Emergency Management Agency. FEMA set up this incident support center at Maxwell Air Force Base, stockpiling supplies which will now be delivered to other areas where they are needed. Local first responders are also helping where they can. The Prattville Fire Department, swiftwater rescue technicians, boats, and other equipment are headed to North Carolina to help with search and rescue operations there. You can do your part to help the victims of Helene by donating to agencies that are on the ground right now, agencies like the Salvation Army. The parent company of WSFA 12 News Gray Media has teamed up with the Salvation Army to collect donations. You can scan the QR code on your screen or log on to helenehelp.org. That's helenehelp.org. That's where you can make a donation in any amount that's comfortable for you. You'll also find that link at our website, WSFA.com. It has been a dreary day across much of Alabama. We are still seeing some cloud cover out there. The WSFA First Alert Weather Team has been busy with Helene for hours now. Meteorologist Amanda Curran is with us this afternoon with a look ahead to the rest of the evening. Amanda?
Well, Mark, I think if you're heading out to any one of those local football games, you're not going to have any issues. It will be a little bit breezy and maybe not as warm as the past couple of weeks. So keep that in mind before you head out. If you want an updated look at that hour-by-hour forecast, make sure you open up the First Alert Weather app. We have an updated look for fever forecasts and beyond. But remember, we're breezy because what is left of Helene still right off towards our north and west. And this spans several hundred miles. So from the rain and flooding threat it is producing right now to even the potential for severe storms and tornadoes in parts of Virginia and northern North Carolina, we are still tracking the impacts of Helene, even though it is a post-tropical cyclone. During a full look at your forecast, we do want to talk about what else is going on in the tropics. There are 2 other named systems that formed and are gaining momentum since we've been tracking Helene. Plus, we want to talk all about the beautiful weekend forecast we have here locally. We're going to give you the latest as we look ahead to your extended forecast, Mark, all coming up in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Amanda, thank you. As we've reported recently, the number of suicides among veterans is a growing problem. That's why a group called Troy for Troops is working to raise awareness. It's a student organization at Troy University that works to help veterans and their families. Our Emma Ellis was on campus for its annual Operation We Remember project. Emma, tell us more.
Mark, Troy for Troops hopes they can raise awareness of veteran suicide through this display of flags and unity. 147. That's how many American flags were placed on Troy University's main quad this morning. One for every veteran who committed suicide in Alabama in 2022. Army ROTC cadet Andrew Simoneau says this visual of the American flags is powerful.
I went back to the box of flags we had thinking it was empty, and there was 15 more. And I kind of hit hard thinking 15 more people lost their sons or daughters and families affected by that, and it's just sobering.
Simoneau and Troy for Troops want to leave people with this message. If you're going through a dark time, talk to someone. And if you see something, say something. And Mark, if you or a loved one needs help, you can call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Hotline.
An important number. Emma Ellis, thanks for that. The operators at 988 can also help you with any mental health issue you may be experiencing, from depression to substance abuse. You can read more as part of our Under Pressure continuing reporting series on mental health here at WSFA 12 News. Just go to WSFA.com/underpressure. It is finally Friday, which means it's time for more Friday night football fever. And our game of the week is a local battle between St. James and Trinity. WSFA 12 sports anchor Davis Baker is on the field right now. Davis, tell us more.
Hey Mark, like you said, St. James at Trinity tonight. This is not a region game this year, but still a pretty fierce rivalry. These two have played the last couple years. I'm now joined by Brian Seymour, the head coach here at Trinity. You guys are out to a 4-1 start, 3-0 in region play. What's working well for your guys so far, Coach?
I really think I think defense has carried us pretty much all year. Played tremendous defense, and I think we got some things working on offense, and finally started taking care of the ball. We had 7 turnovers the first 2 games, and we've only had 1 since. So I think that's the biggest difference. But I think got a lot of kids taking a lot of new roles, and I think we just developing every week, and I think we continue to get better. And I think I said it's just something it's a work in progress. But our kids really gelled together well, and have been playing pretty good football on Friday nights.
This used to be a region matchup, obviously with St. James moving up to 4A. It's not. Why was it important to keep this game on the schedule?
It's just too good a rivalry. It's that close, and I said, this is for the fans, this is for the communities, and like I said, plus a lot of these players hang out with each other, and it's a big deal. So it's a lot of intensity. I said, but once it's over, like I said, you tip your hat and you congratulate them, and you move forward. And like I said, I hope that this year we do a little better than we did last year.
Like you said, these kids have probably grown up together, played youth league sports. How special is it for them to share the field, for this one night?
It's big. Now, they're going to get after it. I think both sides are going to be really intense. Both sides are going to get after it, and they're going to play extremely hard. So, hey, it ought to be fun to watch.
You've got a lot of seniors on this team that have contributed to this point. For you as a head coach, how nice is that to have that experience on the field every Friday night?
I just think it's a senior-laden team, and they're a really close bunch. And like I said, they really, like I said, they go each and every day and try to get the best out of our opportunities we make at practice. And just hanging. They're a real close group. Like I said, they hang out together. So, like I said, it's special to coach these guys. It's a special group.
Last year they got the best of you guys. What are you going to have to do tonight to secure a victory?
I told our kids 2 things I think is most important is turnovers. I think last year we struggled with turnovers against those guys, and I think running the football. I think we got to be able to run the football between the tackles. We got to stop them run the ball, like I said, and hopefully make some explosive plays and limit their explosive plays. So it's not a complex game. We've got to go out there and do the things we can do to be successful. So, but like I said, Coach Black was on a tremendous job. They got those kids. They started off a little slow, but they won 3 in a row. So it ought to be a really, really good game tonight.
A fun rivalry here. Coach Brian Seymour, thank you for your time. We're going to talk more about this game at 6. For now, Mark, I'll send it back into you.
We're looking forward to it, Davis. Thank you so much. Here are some other games we'll be covering tonight. Edgewood Academy taking on Lowndes Academy. Eufaula taking on Wetumpka. Dadeville will be taking on Reeltown. In Crenshaw County, Highland Home is playing Brantley, and Opelika is on the road at Pike Road tonight. If you're going to a game, you can call in your final score to the Fever Hotline, 1-800-264-WSFA. And when you post to social media, make sure you use the hashtag Fever12. Then watch the Friday night football football fever broadcast during WSFA 12 News at 10. Hey, one of the biggest college games this weekend, of course, will be in Tuscaloosa. We're talking about the undefeated Georgia Bulldogs taking on the undefeated Crimson Tide. And former President Donald Trump is expected to be at the game. So if you're going, the university says you need to be in line outside the stadium by 5 o'clock at the latest in order to get through security. Kickoff for the game is at 6:30. If you're not in Tuscaloosa, you can watch on ABC. Both Oklahoma and Auburn are hoping for their first SEC win of the season tomorrow. They'll face off at Jordan-Hare Stadium. The Tigers continue to struggle on offense. Coach Hugh Freeze said he planned to work with the quarterbacks this week. The Sooners and the Tigers play at 2:30 tomorrow. That game also on ABC. The Troy Trojans won their first game under their new head coach Jared Parker last weekend. Tomorrow they'll be hosting Louisiana Monroe. The game will kick off at 6 p.m. It's being aired on ESPN+ at Veterans Memorial Stadium. And here's a look at some other games that we're following. Alabama State playing Bethune-Cookman, Faulkner taking on Point University, and Huntington is on the road at Hendrix. Tuskegee will take on Edward Waters. That game is being played on Sunday afternoon. Hey, tomorrow here on WSFA 12 News, we'll be airing golf and football. From 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., you can watch PGA golf coverage of the 2024 President's Cup. Then at 6 o'clock tomorrow night, we'll have the Big Ten countdown, and at 6:30, the Fighting Illinois takes on the Penn State Nittany Lions. That game will be followed by WSFA 12 News at 10. Still ahead here at 5, former President Donald Trump meets with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. We'll show you how that meeting went. Plus, Vice President Harris visiting the U.S.-Mexico border to address the issue of immigration and border security. And New York City Mayor Eric Adams arraigned on federal charges today. We have the latest from the courtroom.